Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the English online class. So today we are going to discuss and continue learning about verb in past and present. Good afternoon, children. In the last class, we discussed about simple present tense, right? So today let's see what is more for us to learn, and before we go for learning more, we will just have a quick revision of what we have learned in the last class, right? So in the last class, we discussed about the definition of verb, and we understood that verbs are doing words that tells us what people and things are doing. It shows us the action done by something or someone. And again we discussed and learned that every verb has a base form. That means the first form of the verb is the base form, which changes according to the tenses by adding special endings. For example, you can see the samples here. The base form of the verb is see here, and it changes into seeing by adding ing at the end of it, and it totally changes into SAW, so according to the tenses. Then again it changes into seen, 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 totally changed again into past participle form. These forms you will be learning later, okay? In the same way, now you see the difference. Play is the base form. By adding ing at the end of this base form of the verb, we change play into playing, and by adding ed at the end of play, we changed the base form of the verb into played, and again in past participle played. Same way, you can see the base form is make, and we have omitted e at the end, e which is seen at the end, and added ing and made the same word making, and in past tense it is totally changed, made, made, past participle again made. Think is another verb. By adding ing at the end we made it thinking, and in past tense thought and past participle thought, totally different. So children, you have seen by adding certain words or letters or letter groups, for example ing and ed, mostly we change the verbs into different forms. They are called the first form, second form, third form according to the tenses. Okay, to form different tenses like present tense, past tense, past participle, we have to change the form of the verb. Okay, so how do we change this form of the verbs? Mostly by adding ing at the end or by adding ed at the end, and in some cases these both rules will not work. You can see the sample, saw, seen, thought, thought. Okay, in some cases the verbs changes. They are spelling totally in past tense, which has no relation with that of the base form. Okay, so we will learn about this type of verbs in the coming slides. Now, verbs present and past, again we are going to learn more about it, and here in this slide which we have learned in the last class will be revised. In the last class we learned about simple present tense, and simple present tense, why do we use? I told you in the last class, simple present tense is used to talk about actions, happenings or things what is happening right now, and habitual actions. That means to speak about the habits, general truths and facts. These are all the things which we discussed in the last class. Okay, example, she eats a lot of ghee. It's her habit, हरदम करती है. And I like bananas. And the sun rises in the east. It's a general truth. or we can say it's not only general truth, it's a fact that sun will not rise in the west or north or south. It's a fact. The sun rises in the east. You take this gift. Just now I am telling you, take this gift. So that means happenings right now. And the first thing is to talk about the habitual actions. Okay. And she eats a lot of ghee. I like bananas. These are habits. Okay. So the format in which we can form V1, V2, V3, V4. What is that? Pratyaksh? Pratyaksh. What is that V1, V2, V3, V4? Acha, you mean different forms of the verb. Okay. Now, before going further, Pratyaksh, you listen here and see and understand what is written in the slide here. Okay. Now look here. How do we form simple present tense? First of all, SUB. SUB here means a subject. Okay. He, she, it, we, they, Arun, Meena, or Akhil, or Pranali, etc. are subjects. A monkey, a cat. Okay. So subject plus V1. V1 means I told you base form of the verb. In the previous slide we have seen base form of the verbs. See, play, make, think, without having any special endings. That means we are not adding ing, we are not adding ed. So if there are no ing and no ed at the end of a verb, then it is called a base form of the verb. Okay. So here when we have to form a sentence in simple present tense, we should write first subject, then base form of the verb. Okay. Or else you have to write s or es or ies form of the verb plus object. For example, she is the subject here. Look at the sample in the slide. She is the subject. Eats. You can see we have used the S form of the verb here. Eats. A lot of ghee is the object. Okay. And in the same way, I is the subject. After I, you see, I have used V1, base form of the verb. And bananas is the object. Okay. So you have seen the format. If we need to frame a simple present tense sentence, then we should use this particular format, that is subject plus V1 or S, ES, IES form of the verb plus object. And suppose you want to write negative sentence with no or not in simple present tense, what do? We write subject plus do or does not, that is option. Okay, according to the verb it changes. Okay, we write subject plus do or does not plus V1. For example, let's change this first sample itself. She eats a lot of ghee. So, if we want to make it negative, it will be she doesn't eat a lot of ghee. Let's change to the second sentence. I like banana. I do not like bananas. I hope you understood how to make negative sentences. Okay. Now, look at the next box. That means if you want to frame questions with the simple present tense. These are all the things which we learned in the last class, but there was no presentation. That's why I am just explaining it once again. Okay. Now, look here. If you want to frame questions in simple present tense, what should be the format? Do or does at the starting plus subject plus V1. For example, let's make make a question for the first sample itself. She eats a lot of ghee. She eats a lot of ghee. See the format, do or does plus subject plus V1. Does she eat a lot of ghee? Now let's make question for the second sentence. I like bananas. So how do we make question for that? Do you like bananas? Okay. Now you see here for some sentences, some sample. For example, she I used does, and for I used do. Right? And with the she you see we use the S form of the verb. With I we use the root form or base form of the verb. Why? Why do we do like that? There are some grammar rules for you to learn. So let's see this slide and understand it. See here itself, you should understand that if the subject is, this is already discussed in the last class, pay attention again. Okay. If the subject is third person singular, that means she, he, it, or a monkey, Anil, Sunil, or Priyanka, Rashi, etc., then we have to add s, es or ies form of the verb with the subject to form simple present tense. And if the subject is we, they, you, I, or any third person plural. For example, the monkeys, the cats, the students, the teachers, etc. Then we should use only base form of the verb with the subject. Okay? In the same way, if you want to form a negative sentence or if you want to form a question with he, she, it and any third person singular, we have to use does plus V1. Okay. And if you have to form any negative sentences or questions with I, you, we, they and any third person plural, then we have to use do plus V1. This is the grammar rule which you should remember when you are forming sentences, negative sentences and questions in simple present tense. Okay? I hope you understood, children. So now let's see the next slide where we are going to learn about the usage of to be, the base form to be. See the title, verb present continuous tense. We learned simple present tense in the last class. Today we are going to learn about present continuous tense. So how do we form present continuous tense? The revision is over. Now we are entering into the new topic, that is present continuous tense. The present continuous tense expresses actions that is happening at the time of speaking. Abhi chal raha hai means it started and it's going on. For example, I am teaching you now. I started teaching you little earlier and now I am teaching and I will be teaching for some more time. It's going on. Okay. So, if the action is going on, happening right now, then we will use present continuous tense to express those actions. Okay. For example, I am reading a book. Another example is she is singing a song. Third one is they are watching a film. So here you have seen, based on the subject we are changing the helping verb. I is the subject. I used the helping verb am with the I. Here she is the subject. I use the helping verb is with it. Okay. And in the third sample you can see they is the subject. I used are with it. Okay. That means students, the helping verb in present continuous tense changes according to the subject. Okay. Akansha Nikode, your sentence is, question is wrong. Does, after using does, you should use first form of the verb. Does the sun rises in the east, you wrote. It is wrong. Does the sun rise in the east? Not rises. Once you use does, then you have to use only first form of the verb. Now leave that and concentrate on the current slide. Our revision is over. Okay. Now, if you have to form a present continuous tense, then you should understand the format of present continuous tense. Look at the present continuous tense format. First of all, you have to write the subject. It may be I, he, she, it, they, you, we, a monkey, a donkey, or the children, the students. It may be Swara, it may be Pratyaksh, it may be Lavanya, whatever it may be. So first of all, subject. Then after the subject, according to the subject, you should choose am, is or are, whatever it may be. Okay. After that, you should write base form of the verb with ing. Means you can say that you can remember easily ing form of the verb. You should write ing form of the verb, then object, over. Simple. Subject plus is, am, are, or ing form of the verb plus object. Okay, kids. So now we will learn it. Now we will learn it with the examples. Okay, Hrudaya Sahare, concentrate in the current slide. Now, how do we use the verb to be? You know, to be is the base form of the verb am, is, are. Okay, am, is, are developed from the base form to be. So, we use am always with only one subject. Remember, we use am only with the I. Okay, and we use is with all the third person singulars. What are the third person singulars? He, she, it, Aryan, Harsh, Hrudaya, Akansha, etc. Or it can be a dog, a monkey, etc. Okay. He, she, it. You see, he means one person, she means one person, it means one person, Aryan means one person, a monkey means one animal. Okay. So, if we are using any third person singular as subject in present continuous tense, with that subject we have to always use is. If the subject is I, we should use am. If the subject is we, they, I, you, the students, the monkeys, the donkeys, etc., then we have to use are. Okay. And then ing form of the verb plus object. Now look at this positive column, first one. I am, he, she, it, Ritu, a bird, is. This is what I was telling you. You, we, they, the birds are. So with these subjects in positive sentences, you have to use am, is and are. With what subject you have to use am, with which subject you have to use is, and are is given in this particular table. Now, if you want to form negative sentence in present continuous tense, what will you do? Very simple. Just add not with this am, is, are. Here you see subject plus am, is, are plus not plus ing form of the verb and object. Add just one note with the helping verb. For example, I am not reading a book. She is not singing a song. They are not watching a film. It became negative sentence. So look in the negative column. I am not. He, she, it, Ritu, a bird is not. You, we, they, the birds are not. Okay. Now, if you want to form questions, suppose you want to form questions in present continuous tense, how will you form? Very easy. Do one thing, start the sentence with the helping verb. Am, is or are. Okay. See, am I, is he, she, it, Ritu, a bird? Are you, we, they, the bird? Those who didn't understand, look at the first sample given here. I am reading a book. So let's make it into a sentence. Question. Am I reading a book? Then question mark. So auxiliary verb, subject, ing form of the verb. Okay. First of all, you should write am, is or are. उससे चुनना है आपको. You have to select it according to the subject. Then subject plus ing form of the verb, then object. So the question will be formed in present continuous tense. For example, am I reading a book? Now let's change the second sentence. Children, you change the second sentence into a question. She is singing a song. You see, is the helping verb. See, according to our rule, you should come to the front side. Type the answer first. Let me see whether you are able to understand what I am speaking. Am I reading a book? Okay. Now make the questions with the second. In the second sample, look at the second sample. She is singing a song. Make question of she is singing a song. Kalyan, make first. Is the helping verb there? So make first. Don't forget to put the question mark. I am giving you time because it may take you time to type. 23 students are live now. All the 23 students should type the answer whether it is correct or wrong. Kalyan, you are writing only is, that also in small letter. You make the full question. Am I reading a book? You see Rashi has typed. In the same way you have to frame a question with a she is singing a song. Agrti Agarwal, is she singing a song? Ranjita Kumari, Rashi Bidadkar, is she singing a song? Harsh, is she singing a song? Kalyan Pimpal Shande, is she singing a song? Better first letter of a sentence or question should be capital letter. Harsh and Kalyan. Kalyan, the question should end with a question mark. Lavanya, is she singing a song? Is she singing a song? Acha, Agurdi went to the third example. Wow. Is she singing a song? Is Pratyaksh attending the class? Is she singing a song? Ranjita Kumari, I think Anurag, put a question mark at the end of the question button. Is she singing a song? Pratyaksh, put question mark at the end. Yeah. The children, those who are typing the answer, are frequently typing the answer, but there are many students who are hiding and not typing the answers. Why? Better whether it is correct or wrong, you type the answer. Okay. So I hope you understood how to make questions also in present continuous tense. So based on this class, you will be getting some exercises to solve today. Do it. and on Wednesday you will be having a test. Okay, till we meet, it's a bye from my side. Take care. Bye bye.